Happy Thursday, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to our YouTube, Facebook. Thought I'd walk around out here, see all our Squarebodies, see what's going on in the shop. Got some exciting stuff in the shop. But this truck originally came from Meinhardt Farm Equipment in Wamego, Kansas, which is a town about 20 miles east of here. You can see it's missing a top now, but I got this out of Topeka, Kansas, about a month ago. Actually went to look at another truck that was a lot rough, and passed on it because it was kind of buried, and this one was sitting out in the open, so we made a deal on it. It is a 6.2 Detroit diesel. You can see everything's still there. I did sell the filter housing off of it. It was updated to the round style, and then had a guy buy the brackets. But the radiator, the shroud, all the AC stuff, you can see the thermostat housing crossover, that's all still there. I'll let this one stick around for another week or so. Sorry about the background noise there. And then we'll probably pull some other parts off of it, and then it'll get the squeeze. I had a gentleman from Kansas City that needed a roof. So we cut the roof off of it. The bottom of the cab is pretty bad, which is why we did that. These two-wheel drives are pretty common to find. But I don't know if you can see that there. It was all wet. In the video, it doesn't look too bad, but it's all bubbled up and kind of up there by the heater box. It's pretty bad. So had a good roof on it. His had a sunroof cut in it at one time, so we cut the roof off, took all the doors apart inside. Unfortunately, that door's been crunched. It could have been a decent usable door. The bed, it was full of junk, and it's even more full of junk now, but it got crunched right there, and it's got some rust in it, or else we'd probably be saving the bed. Fenders have been crunched, rusted. That bumper's not too bad. I might end up pulling it off. I already have 3 or 4 of those bumpers. And then the radiator support, got a couple of those. So like I said, I'll let it stick around. We've got more of these trucks coming in. I don't want to get a ton of radiator supports and then have them just sit here. So if I don't have to pull anything apart, if somebody wants the rest of this truck, $600, you can take the rest of it. 700 R4, there is no title. 700 R4, 6.2 diesel. It does turn over. 342 rear end. This side of the bed's not horrible, but the bumper's crunched. Tailgate is pretty messed up. Still has some wiring there, but I have a ton of that stuff. So if you get to pulling a lot of parts on trucks, the same thing over and over and over, you know, it takes forever to sell the stuff. So where I get these trucks in pretty regularly, sorry about that, somebody's gonna go ahead and mow now. That's awesome. So anyway, this one here is one we got down in Hope, Kansas. If you saw follow us, we also got a red 1-ton. That's gone, and this one is actually sold also. The gentleman wants the cab, and I just sold him the whole thing. That way it's easier to move the cab, and he can just take the whole thing. We got off what we wanted. That truck's still here. Tim Godfrey, if you're watching this, you need to come get your truck, or let me know and I'll send your money back. Not trying to give you a bad shout out, but that thing's been here for a year. So it's a 1980 short bed. I wouldn't mind building it. I did sell it, but I got a title back from Kansas that I've sent to him, but I also got a duplicate title because if he does not want this anymore, then I'll send his money back. But 3-4 months is fine, but 12 months of same vehicle sitting here, it's taking up real estate. I need to get it going, or I'll just keep it. This truck here, we went up to last weekend to Steel City, Nebraska. I've been talking to the kid on this for a couple weeks. We had a wedding last week. My cousin Nalani got married. Congrats, Nalani and Grant. And this was just over the border in Steel City. 84 GMC, 305, 700 R4, 208, but somebody replaced the 700 R4 with a 350 transmission. First put some fuel to it, some power to it, and it did not want to run at all, backfiring, carrying on. So I put a different carburetor on it, actually the one from that truck right there, because it had an Edelbrock of some sort on it. Plug wires were all junk. Got it timed and it fired right up. Kind of got some bad fuel in it, but and the carburetor that was on this truck, Quadrajet, which are great carburetors, but I believe the accelerator pumps out of it just because it's been sitting so long. We'll go over this one here in a minute. But overall, a pretty straight truck. Got some rust. It's actually a Kansas truck that was up in Nebraska. The interior was pretty trash. The back glass, I've just got it taped in there. It had a toolbox on it, and I couldn't get to this part with the toolbox on it, which the toolbox, if you notice, is right there. So I got the toolbox off, and then I can put my glass back, finish putting it in. But I was running out of time the other day, and I just went ahead and taped it in there because it did not have a glass in it. Had glass all over. The seat that was in it is actually that one there. You can see with no glass in it, it just got absolutely trashed. And this truck right here had this seat in it, and so I just threw that seat in it, which this seat is a 79-80 78 seat. It's a little different with the way your seat belts, if anybody ever knows that, you're 81 and up, your seat belts ran through here, and then 80 and earlier they went through here. It'll still work, and for what we're going to do with this truck, this is just fine. I've got a different dash and stuff. I'll get it put in it, kind of clean it up, but this is going to be, I believe this will be our shop truck, unless somebody wants to give $2,500 for it. If not, it can be our shop truck. I need something around here. A lot of times I'll get something and somebody's like, hey, would you sell that? And of course, like, yeah, I'll sell it. And then you're like, darn it, I shouldn't have sold that. But we'll get this one going, get the brakes right. It's got brakes, it's not very good. But it even has a K-State tag on it that was already on it, so it was meant to be. This hard to find 83, 84 grill is still in it, along with that chrome grill guard, which I'm kind of on the fence of those. It's cool for the era. It does help protect the grills. Anytime I get one of these trucks in that has these, the grill and everything is usually in really good shape. But somebody's kind of butchered up the wiring, so I have extra wiring harness. I'll fix all that, but I'm thinking about taking the 350, which runs in that one. It just needs a fuel pump. Throwing it in this, giving it the old super tune, getting it all cleaned up, and just having a good beat around Squarebody 4-wheel drive. And by beat around, I mean beat around. That had to be pretty hard to come back and hit that fender and gouge it like that. But it's a High Sierra, which if anybody knows the differences, High Sierra is basically a Scottsdale in Chevrolet lingo. So Sierra Classic, which is what the convertible is now, that's your Silverado. High Sierra would be your Scottsdale. But you can see it's got some rust. Running boards are kind of holding it together. I'll probably keep those on just because old man truck, right? But it's almost a Sierra Classic with the tilt, power windows, locks, all that good stuff. But Indian bronze and white. So it did not have these on it. It had rallies on it, but they were all blown out. And so had those wheels and tires, threw those on it. So I had something to roll on. So I guess we'll make that our beat around shop truck. This one, which I got from Silas down in Hutchinson, Adventures Made from Scratch. If you're following along this far, we're gonna go ahead and walk into this will be a little bit longer video. We're gonna walk into the shop there and kind of show everybody what's going on. But this is a 79 Chevrolet. Now I know it's got a GMC grill in it, but I needed a Chevrolet grill for Aubrey's truck, and this had a really good one in it. And I had this GMC grill hanging on the wall, so I went ahead and just stuck it in there so it didn't have an opening. But this is a 350/400 truck, 3/4 ton, 2-wheel drive. The tires that were on it were all blown out. It had some big length running boards, which are actually in the back of the convertible truck over there. Took those off. This has been in one of Silas's yards for, I'd say, 14, 15 years, and has been pushed around, moved around. But you can see the fender's crunched, the door's got a dent in it. But hopefully you can hear me. I started this video and dude started mowing. But it had a bug shield on it, but half of it was gone, which sucks because it was an original GM bug shield. But the reason they quit driving this is because the wheel bearing burned up, fell out, and you can just see the spindle sticking out. So I found the nut and the cover and kind of got it back on so the wheel would kind of stay halfway on it, and stuck a hubcap on it. That's why they quit driving it, and they scrapped it. And Silas didn't, his dad, I think he was probably, it was 15 years ago, he had to have been a teenager, but his dad didn't crush it, thankfully. And he sent it to me here a couple weeks ago. You want this? I said, sure. We drove down and got it. This is a single tank. Did I say this was a 79? I did. I'm wrong. It's a 78. 78 GMC. For some reason I was thinking it was 79. Last year of the round hole, if anybody's familiar with that. It's got a really nice tailgate on it. This is russet metallic, which ironically is the same color as this one. It's just two-tone. I don't think I've ever had two russets together. 350/400 transmission, 350 engine, 400 transmission, all the AC, everything's there. Once again, this is a Scottsdale. Cruise control, tilt, so it's almost a Silverado, but not. Check out this interior, this Mandarin interior. Now this is completely full of trash. So I cleaned it all out, blew it out. That floor mat's really nice. That's the rubber for that door. Nice tilt column. It does run. Fuel pumps out of it though, probably from sitting for so long. But you put power to it, gas down the carburetor, and it runs. Dash isn't horrible. Well, it has been cut, unfortunately. Somebody put an old school cassette player in it, which blows my mind because you could have got a dual knob one instead of this big one like that. But orange seat belts, orange seat. It's had to be quite the truck back in the day. Like I said, it didn't have any hubcaps on it. I had those, and I had those wheels. Haven't decided what I'm gonna do with this one yet. I don't know if you can see that tailgate. The doors aren't horrible. Just dented right there. It's missing the big camper mirror. The other side had one, but I needed the mirror head for it. I took it off and just threw the rest away because it was kind of dented up. Unfortunately, I've only got one good one. That's on the other side. But This one will probably have the motor and transmission pulled. Like I said, I think I'm gonna put the motor in this truck right here. The cab is pretty crunchy, unfortunately, most likely just from sitting for so long, because this right here, well, you can kind of see it was completely full of leaves and sticks and everything over the years. It just sat there, and then it get rained on, so the firewall is pretty crunchy. So this one will probably get the, I'll probably cut the roof off of it. It does have a title, but it would make a good pickup box trailer. You hate to do it, but at the same time, I'm not the one that quit driving it and sold it for scrap either. All right, there's the van that we were asking next to nothing on, and it literally had every Tom, Dick, and Harry, like they were trying to buy a $15,000 vehicle. I was only asking like $13.50 for it, but it's sold. All right, so this is Aubrey's truck. You guys have seen it in previous videos, social media. We've got to completely do the brakes front to rear. I've got parts ordered from Rock Auto, and the reason I ordered Rock Auto is because they were the least expensive and I can get AC Delco. So I did a lot of price checking through all the parts stores here in town and Rock Auto, and if I can get AC Delco or OEM parts, then I'll do that. But I've got to steal some fuel lines off of a truck out there, because these fuel lines are, I've never seen them that bad. I've never seen fuel lines, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but they are literally have pinholes all the way through them. It's just crazy how rusty it got underneath. So I got to put fuel lines on it. I've got a complete brake line kit coming from Inline Tube for it. It should be here today, or excuse me, tomorrow or Monday. The left rear wheel would not turn because the brakes all came apart. So we finally got that pried and banged off. And then this side's pretty decent. I do have wheel cylinders coming, but they're not leaking or anything. But the only reason I do is because I'm afraid the brake lines literally aren't going to come out of there. But it is what it is. You can see how crunchy it is, and I'll try to find her a bed for it. But our main goal is to get this back on the road, make it safe, stop. There's the drivetrain the engine, motor, transmission for it. The engine, transmission, transfer case, excuse me. But yeah, there's all the parts there. Would not allow. Yeah, you can see it. They haven't really been leaking, but while I'm there, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put them in. They're only like $9 a piece. And I got it all apart, putting all new other stuff on it, might as well. So I would say we're gonna be gone for 5 days next week into the following week. I would say middle of October, towards the end of October, this thing will be running, driving, and out of here. Because Steve's truck, if you remember the red Spirit of 76, it'll be coming back so I can get it put back together. But there's the hood for it. Tomorrow, my boy and I are going to LMC to get a bunch of parts for this thing. We'll get the hood and the valance and the fenders painted, and get them put on when we go back together with it. So this wasn't here the last time I made a video. This is for Gerald's truck. You can see we've been working on cutting some brackets off. Gonna get ready for the C notch from Tin Works. Their stuff's pretty awesome. We've got to get all those braces off, but we needed this so we could start mocking up to get this thing going and rolling and get it all blown apart and get powder coated. But this is an 03 6-liter. It's only got 70,000 miles on it with a 4L80. So we were going to go with an LS3, something crazy horsepower, but we were going to spend around 20 to 25 grand on that. Well, it's going to be a nice truck, but we don't need, if we're going to do that, then we would have had to get, you might as well get a new frame, a spec frame, stuff like that. And we're not doing that with this truck. This will be a very nice truck. However, for 25 grand, we can dump all that into the bodywork and the paint, which is what people are going to see anyway. 6-liter, Great motor. We got this from Denton Auto Salvage. He found me one with 70,000 miles. The computer, all the wiring, the gas pedal. Just a pull out, pull out, and then we'll do our stuff to it, get it stuck in there. But tax, everything delivered, that was $6,200. Now this will be our first full LS we're gonna do, but for $6,200 for everything, 70,000 miles, you know, we might put some headers on it. You know, we could put it in there the way it is. Don't know if we're gonna, you know, have it cammed. I think you could put some headers on it and have it tuned and have a great motor. You know, these things were like 325 horse. You know, well, this came out of an H2, but, well, not that truck, but, you know, the truck body style before that, that was God's plenty in those things. You know, I needed a little bit more, but in this short bed C10, that's going to be all you need. And we'll have it tuned and, like I said, all that, but it'll look great in there. Pretty excited for that. But a lot of people say, well, why didn't you go with a 6.2? Well, a 6.2 was about another $4,000. And when you still have to do wheels, tires, you know, we still got to do something with the rear end, which we're going to use the factory 12 bolt because it's got 373s, which I believe it's a posi, or excuse me, a limited slip, whatever GM calls them. We'll just build it. It'll be great. It'll be able to handle this. And then we can start, you know, because he's going to need a lot of money to get all that paint and body. And of course you got interior and whatnot. So that'll be awesome. So that showed up, what is today, Thursday? That showed up, I think, Monday, something like that. They delivered that. So that's cool. So be looking for more videos on that. We'll get to really going on this when the weather gets a little bit crappier out. Right now, we're concentrating a lot of stuff outside. And then there's a good 81 and up hood. Russet, if anybody needs one, just needs to be cleaned, which I'm gonna clean it and polish it. And if anybody needs any 15x8 6 lugs, you know, they call them military wheels. There's a set right there. And if you go to our website, www.flinthillsquarebodies.com, we've got some stuff on there, and we've sold some stuff on there, but my goal is to get all of this stuff put on there. I've just been so busy that it takes time, and I'm working on it. Have patience with me. I'll get it done. We did sell some hubcaps, but you can see our room that was kind of organized is like catch-all again. But we'll get it organized again. We'll get stuff on the website. Everybody can kind of look, go through it. It kind of makes us legit. We're not scammers, anything like that. We'll get all that stuff put on there. Then you can order that way, or you can message me and order that way, whatever works. Anybody needs any 16.5ers? Those are actually the wheels that came on that 78 I showed you, that orange one, or russet one. So the tires were all blown out, so I had the tires removed. But anyway, if you've been following along this far, appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. I'll put some details in the description on how to get a hold of us. Got my nice shade there. But we have, where I got that down in Hutchinson from Silas with Adventures Made from Scratch. You can go follow him on YouTube. I think there's 5 or 6 more that I told him I'd take. So once the weather gets cooler and stuff, we'll start dragging them up here. But anyway, thanks everybody. Appreciate you following along. Instagram, Facebook. Really appreciate that. And we will see you on the next video.